All right, we are live, but am I ready? Not quite, but are we doing it anyway? Yes, we are. Um, let's see. I'm trying to get the TikTok stuff all ready. So if you can hear me, if things are okay, let me know. I also have it up on my iPad so I can make sure. Let me check. But am I ready? Yeah, it's working. Okie dokie. It says I'm sharing a sneak peek over on TikTok, but that's a lie. That it's not what I'm doing today. I am actually going to be showing my planning process. I'm not really teaching it. It's really just like I need to get my own plans done for my language studies, and I figured why not one, do it live, and then two, I'm trying to get this lighting to be better than it is. One, why not show it? And two, why not answer questions while I'm doing that? So if you are watching right now, hello, hello, whether it's on TikTok, whether it's on YouTube, I have my quarterly plans open. I do all of my planning on Notion. And I did promise this yesterday, so I am here today. But this is keeping me accountable. Like, if I don't show up live to do this, I was probably going to put it off until the weekend, and I should not, because this is not only planning for October, this is planning for me for November and December. I plan out in quarters. And so I definitely will be answering questions. Like if you see me doing something, you're like, what in the world is that? What did you do there? How'd you do the thing? Like ask. Absolutely. But really I just wanted to just live stream me planning out my language studies and actually figure out what I'm going to be doing starting next week. Because I don't know. I have no idea. I have like tentative plans. And even before this, I made sure to fill in my skill check table. And I'm going to show that really briefly, walk through it. And I did a sort of informal reflection process. I didn't write any of it down because I was too lazy to do that. But I generally reflect often enough that it's not like a problem that I didn't do it here, you know? Let me see if I can put this light somewhere else because the lighting is stupid today. Is that better or worse? It's worse. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. Because it's great on YouTube. And then on TikTok, I look like I'm sitting. Whatever. It's fine. It's good. It's okay. All right. So, yes, I'm going to be answering questions. If you have questions, feel free to let me know. I'm going to share my screen and I'm just going to go through my process. So, yeah. And if there's any lag at all, I apologize. But while I'm here, I'm also obviously on, what is it, this side of the screen on YouTube and on TikTok up here talking about my Fluency Focus week. We start next week. Day one is on Sunday, and it is so much going on then. So much amazing things that are happening. I'm very excited about the process. And yeah, so let's dive in. Let me scroll up a little bit. Okay. Screen and video, but I need to get the right screen. And I need to make sure you can actually see it because it is zoomed in way too much. So yes, I plan everything out in Notion. I have this whole like database that I created last year, the year before last, specifically for people inside of my Polyglot project program. And so this is like one of the tools that people can get. And I made it in Notion because I love Notion. And I was like, I want other people to understand how powerful it can be to use it. I'm just trying to get the dimensions right. It should be okay now. Well, all you really need to see is this part. I've changed my mind. All you really need to see is that. Okay, here we go. There it is. So I'm just going to jump right into it. If you're watching on TikTok, unfortunately, you can't see my study plans because it's on my desktop. And they took away my ability to live stream from the desktop on TikTok because I don't have enough people yet. But you can hop over to the YouTube channel and watch it from there. So let me just get straight into it. This section right here is really just my quarterly plans. You can't see the left side where I say like add a new goal for yourself. What actions do you want to be able to do? And then choose a 3-month template to fill in each section. I actually have to update that because I've changed this many, many, many times. But here are just some of the things that I have done already. So actually, if I shrink this down, okay, I guess I do have to share the full screen because you can't see part of it. That's very, very important. There we go. Okay, so this is my language skill check sort of space. And essentially what I do is every month, you'll see month 9, 10, 11, 12, and I've done the September stuff to reflect on my progress in September and like where I feel I am. I do it for each language. You can see it all up here. I'm actually going to do the all language view so that you can just see every single language all in one place. And so my American Sign Language, I hide all the other views so that I'm not tempted to look at what I said for, let's say, August, and then adjust what I would say about each skill based on that. So we're looking at listening, reading, writing, speaking, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, consistency, motivation, and level of confidence, all with these language skills. And then I do it on a rating of 5. So just starting, getting better, good, confident, and proficient. And though confidence sometimes doesn't align like grammatically with what is being measured, it's a 5-star system, right? And so I really just go through each language and I rate it on a scale of 1 to 5. I do all that. So I have American Sign Language, Black American Sign Language, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Mandarin, Russian, and Spanish, and there's one missing. Tutnese. There we go. And so I did all this work already in prep for this planning. Or actually, I didn't actually do Tutnese, so let me just do that now. Tutnese is like getting better. Speaking is just starting because I don't really speak Tutnese out loud, but I do read it quite often. My vocabulary is fine. My things are in a weird place. Okay, we're fixed. My writing is fine. My grammar is fine. My pronunciation is a little weird. I am not as consistent as I could be with it. I am heavily motivated and I am definitely not super confident. There we go. Boom. All right. So I did my Tutnese. And now we're going to start the actual quarterly plans. I say we. Now I'm going to actually start the quarterly plans. So this is quarter 4. Hold on. I forget what I... Take a look at all my archived ones. Okay, I remember now. So I always put these as like, what is the measurable thing that I want to be able to do in the language that I'm learning? And so I'm just gonna make all of them right now. Just like go down the list. Hold on, let me click this button a few times. Hold on. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you don't have as many languages as me, you're not going to have to go through the process of doing this 11 times. But I do. So, okay. And so I don't actually remember. Yeah, it's there. Okay, so what do I want to be able to do? Let's start off with, I'm just going to go in the order that I usually name all the languages. So, there we go. And then Japanese. And then we have Korean next. So adding in all. Okay. Oh, wait, no, I did it wrong. Oops. I was like, why is the flag not showing up? What is happening? It's because you didn't actually click on the icons. That's fine. Um, and so because this is quarterly plans, it's not like I'm doing this every month. This is for the next 3 months. So yeah, there's a lot of prep work. I don't necessarily expect all of the people I work with to do exactly this. I'm just very thorough. I'm like the extreme version of what I recommend. And there's layers to it. Then we have Russian. We have German. And I just put the flags here just to remind myself which language this is for, because sometimes I get to see the language here, sometimes I don't. But if I have the flag there, then in Notion it's easy for me to tell. So there we go. I just realized I didn't even, let me stop the live on TikTok first and then come back because I realized I didn't even name it. I literally just clicked live. So let me fix that for a second. Planning my languages. There we go. Planning my languages. That is more direct. Okay, and then we have, there's something missing. Spanish, French, Japanese, Korean, Mandarin, Russian, German, Italian. Why does it say 11 if I'm, that's weird. Hold on. And then, oh, there it is. I was like, where's the, okay. And then we need another hand, but we're going to change the color of the hand. Boom, for Black American Sign Language. And then what do I usually put for Tutnese? Oh my goodness, what do I usually put for Tutnese? Hold on. Archived. What did I do? Do I have? I don't have plans for Tutnese here. Well, that makes sense then. Why I'm like, I don't remember what I put for that. You've never put the plans here before. Okay, so what icon can I use for Tutnese? Let's use there we go. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so let me just mirror that here. We have Spanish, and see, it goes in the same order that I literally just did. I have a system to how I name these languages. It's hilarious. Just like they all have a color coding system as well. So like, all the colors you see here on the side are literally just the colors I've given them for years, and it has not changed. And then we have the Russian, we have German, like that's not the German color, but there's only so many colors I can use on this. ASL. I put these together and I should probably put them separate, but that's fine. And al final, okay. So the very first thing I want to do is figure out what languages are going to be my focus languages. And what I generally recommend to my students and clients is no more than 3 languages that you're actively focused on at a given time. And so for quarter 3, July, August, September, I was focused on German, Italian, Russian. Now, I feel like although I want to give Russian a break, I probably shouldn't. So I'm going to make that one of my priority languages. And then I do want to see with Spanish and Japanese, I literally just need to use it more. So those are going to be non-priority. I think the same thing with French and Korean, as much as I would like to actively dive into it. Like I can do that when I have time. Um, Maybe I can do ASL as my priority because it's been a while. And then Tutnese is definitely non-priority because I just need to use it more. This is literally me just like making decisions. Which one am I willing to, that's pretty much what this is. Like, which language am I willing to take a break from. And priority, non-priority, the difference really is one language is the language that I am actively focused on. I'm like actively trying to make progress on it. And then the other language is one that I can do when I have extra time, but I'm not pressuring myself to study that. And because I have 11 languages on my list right now, it is really important that I stick to this. So I'm like, what languages do I want to, or I get to, because I'm trying to reframe how we say this, I get to explore. I really think I want to do Italian more. It's Italian or German. Let's keep up with Italian because I want to be able to talk with Anna a little bit. And be like, look at how I'm doing. Isn't it great? Progress is happening. Okay. So I know which languages are going to be my priority languages, which ones are not. And now my goal is to actually map out like what I'm going to be doing for each language. 1 second. I'm just looking for here. Okay. So this section here right next to where I put all the icons is where I put my milestone. Now, while I definitely talk about goals a lot in goal setting in our language studies, I actually think less about goals and more about milestones. Now, they're pretty much the same thing. I just feel like a milestone gives my brain more wiggle room to change my mind or to adjust, whereas a goal feels really rigid. And the milestone is more about as I'm working on the habit of studying and making progress, I'm going to reach the milestone. Whereas when I set a goal, I'm like very focused on the goal and not on the habits. That's just how I've been with my language studies. So usually when people come to me, we talk about goals, but then ultimately we dive into milestones. So for French, I mean, not French, for Russian, I want to be able to see, I'm not in a place where I want to talk yet. I just want to like be able to make complete sentences. Make complete sentences, and talk about myself and my habits slash hobbies with confidence. And I think I can do that in 3 months if I work on it. And sometimes I say to like define what this means, what this looks like for you in your language studies. Let me make this bigger. Can I make myself bigger? Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, so you can see me more. It's more of me and not just, the full screen of my work. So yes, to be able to make complete sentences and talk about myself and my habits, my hobbies with confidence. And so what this means is if I want to be able to talk, do I mean speaking or do I mean writing? I I've been doing a lot of input and I think I need to use it more and that's what's keeping me stuck with the vocabulary. Let's focus on speaking. And usually I color code these this way because anytime I'm focused on speaking, generally I try to do listening. Um, there's no right or wrong way to do it. You can do a fully output focus, speaking, writing. You can do a strictly input, listening, reading. You can do a combination. But I also say don't focus on more than like three skills at a time. So I think I'm going to do speaking. And then if I do listening, then I don't need to do linguist anymore right now, except maybe for vocabulary. So that means I need to do some podcasts. Actually, I'm gonna just open it up this way. Is it gonna show up? Yeah, it's kind of on screen. There we go. So milestones, notes, and change. get back into the podcast. Listen regularly again. I also want to use Linguist for vocab mining, sentence building strategy. And so what would be my milestones? Off the top of my head, I want to put a number of podcast episodes to listen to. Podcast episodes listened to. And the goal with this is extensive listening. I really just want to listen to a lot of things. I don't want to stick with one audio for a long period of time. Yeah. And I'll figure out what number. I have to go look at that podcast series. I don't think I have it up right now. No. Okay. Milestone number 2. So this one is actually, I'm going to put this for number 2 so it matches with the skill focus. So milestone 2 matches with listening, number of podcasts that I'm listening to. When I reach that milestone, I'll know because I'll have listened to that number of episodes. And then for speaking, I want to do 2 times a week shadowing and recording. So this will be like me practicing talking out loud, and I might choose a different strategy to go along with that. So I'm going to put, wait, no, I can put it as a comment. Alt/second strategy. And then the third one for pronunciation. Well, I guess that would be the pronunciation. I'm working on vocabulary. There we go. And then this would be 10 cards per day on Linguist for, I'm going to say good, better, best for GBB. So I know to do my levels of expectations for the 10 cards per day. So it's not 10 cards per day every single day, but it's 10 cards per day for the number of days that I expect to be able to do this. And like, this is pretty much what I do to start. I also have this worksheet to do even more, but generally like this is all we really need. But I put like the milestones here, like why do I want to be able to do this? What are the ways that I'm going to hold myself accountable to it? I always use activity trackers, and I'd sometimes do public pledges or accountability pledges or public commitments. But I think the activity tracker is pretty much what I do. My celebrations are generally the same, and I have my reflections. So yeah, Russian is generally planned. And now we're going to move on to my next priority. And now goal is like, if I have my priority languages planned, that is great. I don't have to plan for my non-priority because I'm not actively studying any of those languages. So what am I doing with Italian? I want to be able to, I think the same thing as Russian, honestly. It just feels different because it's easier for me. But I want to focus on reading, writing. What I try to do is I try to get a good balance of skills across the 3 that I'm focused on. So like everything is not focused on just speaking, and everything's not just focused on writing or reading or whatever it might be. I try to do a little mixture because I like variety. And I think if everything was requiring me to speak all the time, or everything was requiring me to read all the time, I would get bored or frustrated depending on what it is. So I think, hold on. Let me just scroll down. It's easier. Okay. So I said my listening and speaking is low, my writing's low, my grammar's low. So I think that's what I want to focus on. Speaking, listening, and let me get rid of that. And my, I'll say grammar because vocabulary will come along with that. And so with speaking, what are some of the strategies I want to use for this? Let me check. I have a whole database, so I'm like, don't think about it, Bront'e. Just go to your database. That's literally what you created it for. Um, Here we go. Database. Just living in the. I haven't watched that show in forever. I think they finished. They had a second series. Oh, now I want to watch it. Oh, my brain. Okay, database, product suite, database, language learning resources, TPP database. There we go. 102 language learning strategies. Like I made this so I didn't have to think about it. So I'm thinking about speaking strategies, listening strategies. And actually, I want to adjust the Russian ones, but I'll do that last. So when it comes to speaking, what do I want to do? I can. Ooh, I like that. I'm going to create and rehearse my own sentences because this will also get me to use my sentence building. I like that. And then for listening, so if you're watching over on TikTok, unfortunately, you can't see the work that I'm doing right now. But if you want to see the planning that I'm doing for my language studies, then you can join me over on YouTube. You get to see my Notion live as I'm going through it. And if you're over on YouTube, thank you for being here as I'm mapping it out. Okay, we did speaking, now listening. And I can just show kind of on my screen. I'll do it for both. Are you able to see it? Nope, it's too bright. Not over there either. Okay, so just imagine, close your eyes. Imagine that you can see the skills. Each one has about, what's the number? Like 11? No, 15. 15 different strategies for each skill generally. So listening, I think if for Italian, I do want to listen at a I was gonna say, oh, listen at a different speed and summarize. Use Italian as much as possible. Yes. And so that's not really a milestone. I'm just writing the strategy here first, and then I'm going to translate it into a milestone. So no, these are not milestones. These are strategies, but I just want to get them down because knowing what strategy I'm using is going to help me figure out what milestone I expect to reach by completing that milestone, by using that strategy. And then the next one is grammar. So I want to do, I could do some comprehensible input and that would get the double with listening. But I want to do some actual like conjugation practice, I think. Yeah, conjugation practice. And now let's go through it again. So create and rehearse my own sentences. It's going to be like 3 to 5 sentences for each session minimum. And I'm actually going to take this. Hold on. This is going to be a comment because this is just a guideline. And what I'm actually going to be measuring is when I have, what do we have for October? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Let's see, when I have about 30 plus sentences created for the create and rehearse my own sentences. Actually, no. 5, 10, 10, 20, 30, 40. Let's do 30 just as the bare minimum. That works. Okay, so milestone is to be able to have those 30 sentences. And then what am I doing next? Definitely for the next one, I want to, so I'm listening at different speeds and summarizing as much as possible in Italian. And so the way that I'm going to measure that is both with the listening and the summaries. Hello, welcome. So if you're joining me over on TikTok, unfortunately, you can't see the screen where I'm doing my planning. So if you want to see my Notion setup, you can join me over on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. But if you want to just hear me talk about it, you can definitely stay here. I'm planning out my language studies for October, November, December. And I'm literally just showing my Notion, like literally what I use to do this process. And so my focus languages for right now are going to be, let me scroll back up. Russian, Italian, and American Sign Language. And I have to go back to revise the Russian stuff, but I'm going through Italian right now. So I chose 3 skills. I generally say no more than 3 skills. Speaking, listening, and grammar is my focus for Italian. I want to be able to make complete sentences and talk about myself and my hobbies, my habits with confidence. And then I'm setting up my 3 milestones. The way that I've done it is I started off with 3 strategies that I want to use. So conjugation practice, listening at different speeds to summarize, and then creating and rehearsing my own sentences out loud. And now I'm translating those strategies into actual milestones. So like when I've done this, I know I've made progress because it's very clear. And so when it comes to listening at different speeds and summarizing, I know that the milestone is going to be a number of podcast or video, I think. I have to find the resource. I'm just going to put a number right here, like a blank, of episodes, videos listened to. Thank you so much for the love over on YouTube as well. Okay, number of episodes listened to plus summaries. How many summaries can I do? Let's say I just do 1 summary a week minimum. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. So a minimum of 5 summaries. And the strategy is that. Okay. And then for conjugation practice, I am not going to count like the number of conjugations that I do, but the number of times that I do it. And so I have to look at the whole scope of my week. So I'm going to map that out next. But let's just say minimum is like twice a week. Then that's like 2 sessions, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So let's say a minimum of 10 plus sessions of conjugation practice. And then any notes, I need to find something. Let's see, find something to listen to. I need, listen is way wrong, but that's okay. I want to, I don't have to set up my sentence building Notion because that's already there. I've been putting sentences in there from Lingo Deer. I guess I have to double check Italian learning website. So I have some websites. I think what I want to do is Italian to French. So I need to make sure that the website that I'm using for this is teaching me Italian and French, because then this will give me the opportunity to keep practicing my French, which is what I tend to prefer to do whenever possible. Is like, as much as I can, use a language that is not my native language of English. And I think that's pretty good for now. Like, I can come back, I can adjust this, but pretty good. And now let's dive into my American Sign Language. Now, the skills are obviously a little bit different because it's a sign language. It's not like Italian or Russian, but I do want to focus on vocabulary. Definitely. I want to practice on what I would say is like listening or reading. I could literally choose either of these. What I mean by that is input, being able to understand someone when they speak to me, and then the output of speaking the language when it comes to American Sign Language. And I think I'll leave it like that for now, because I can tell which sign language it is by the hand. And I want to be, I think literally my goal for all three is pretty much the same thing, because despite the fact that like Russian and American Sign Language are started at different times, it's this a very similar experience that I'm having with them. So I don't think I've ever had it where I've planned my quarterly plans and I've had the exact same expectation for all three, but here we are. And so when it comes to this, if we're doing listening, I need to watch more content in ASL. And I already know of, I'm going to put a note for myself. There's a streamer on TikTok, and there are a few people on IG that I love to watch. I need to like schedule time to do that. And like, I need to define what more is, because that's not really a milestone. Watch more. If I do it once, that's more than I did before when it was 0. And so I'm going to say, if I can do this like 2 times, I might change that. Again, the frequency of these things might change, but I just know that I'm thinking about how often I'm watching these videos, and I'm going to keep track of them in my study tracker. And actually I can, there's nothing here, but this is kind of the study tracker that I use. And I put in like how often I expect to make progress. I'll do my tracking, and then it gives me a progress bar and tells me if I've reached my goal. I need someone, aka past me, to tell me I'm doing a good job. And so that's kind of what that tracker is all about. And then when it comes to speaking, I need to practice. I'm going to have to record myself talking about myself and my hobbies. And I would say if I can do that once a week, once per week, that would be great. I'll put in the total, or I guess I should say 4 times then. Yeah. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. 5x. And this is not 2 times, but this is 10. Okay. And then for vocabulary, I realize I put these, it's not technically in the wrong spaces, but I'm trying to mirror what's here. So let me adjust that. Yep. And delete. And then put it for this one. Okay, which means my vocabulary, I want to, I guess, see, here's the thing with sentence building with ASL. It doesn't work with typing it out, but I can still do sentence building. So I think once a week, so that'll be 5 times sentence building practice. And it's really just going to be me mirroring sentences by native fluent speakers. And I might try to save those recordings and add them to my sentence building resource, just so I have it all there. I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so let me go back to Russian because I want to adjust, and literally I just closed it. That's hilarious. Here we go. Okay, so I said shadowing and recording, but I don't know if I actually want to do that. I put this note and I immediately. Oh, okay. So yeah, delete that because we're gonna put a second in a different strategy. So first one is speaking. Let's look through speaking. Hmm. Narrating what I've done for the day is probably a bit above my level. I could read a text out loud and I wouldn't focus on like understanding it. I would just focus on, no, I want to summarize here too, 2 times a week. Summarize slash reflect on self and studies. And so that would be a total of 10. And then extensive listening. Let's be more specific with this listening, not just say extensive. So I could do, I don't want to do too many summaries because then I'll get like frustrated with doing the same thing. And I'm doing extensive, not intensive. Maybe I just listen and write down what I hear. And by that, I mean like 3 to 5 vocab words. And this will push me to actually spell better in Russian because I'm pushing myself to write out the things that I want to remember. And then linguist is pretty good. Okay. So that's my quarterly plans. And essentially, what I tend to do, sometimes I'll work on all 3 milestones at once. Sometimes I use the milestones as like the month. So this is like October, November, December. It really depends on how I'm feeling, but I have that, when you do these kinds of plans, you really have that, that ability to make that decision for yourself. And so I think, let me go to my complete strategy. That's the full page. There we go. So I think, I think we're good. So let me do my monthly plans. And the monthly plans are really just on these 3. So I can pretty much just take the milestone, and I think I'm actually going to do that. So I love that this is summaries and this is sentence building. So it's a little bit different. Again, I need variety. I cannot do the same thing or I'm going to get frustrated and not do any of it. I know myself. Let's go to table view for a second. And my action plan is this. Let me just take a look at my archives because I forget what I've done for these. Yeah. Learn basic introductions. Complete. So yeah, some of them have been like complete the specific section of a textbook or write 6 journal entries. Again, something that you can measure. And, oh wait, did I put it with the, I think I did. Yep, I did. So let me go in and add in this one. And then for the next one, and I don't have to go in this specific order, like this is speaking and speaking. So I might do speaking and then actually the second milestone first for listening. Again, for the variety. And we'll give it no, I don't want that in the background. What I do want is this. There we go. And then finally, This is vocabulary. Nope, I just want to watch more ASL content. I think. Or do I? Nope, we're going to stick with the first one. I think that's necessary. So sometimes the milestones can also build on each other. And I think that's what's happening here. So I want to stick with it. Okay. There we go. And then this is American Sign Language. So let me put, there we go. And this is, these are my priority. What did I say for this? Let me go into the table view so I can edit it a little easier. So sentence, summary, and reflect. That is for Russian and speaking. And then my non-priority will be vocabulary. Because I'm going to need a lot of vocabulary to be able to summarize. Now for Italian, it is the number of episodes and summarize. So it's primarily listening. And what color do I have Italian at? Because I don't have it down here. 1 second. Orange. Italian, create, and change the color to orange. Okay. And then with the summaries, I'm going to be doing written summary. I'm going to do, yeah. And then we have here, and squish that. So this is like sentence mirroring, right? That's my vocabulary strategy. Okay. So vocabulary, and then it's technically speaking as well. And then what I tend to do is think about the habits that I'm going to be doing. So what am I actively going to be doing to help me become more of the kind of person who uses this language? That's pretty much like I want to be able to use it. So me mirroring people talking is kind of what I want to do. I mean, making my own sentences, but pretty much the same thing. So this is just for this coming month, so for October. And then I am definitely going to go back in and lazily plan the rest of the languages, but it's not as much as a priority because, for example, my Italian grammar website, anytime I'm looking it up, it's going to be in French or probably in Spanish. Japanese and Korean are my like default languages for me playing video games. And so it's going to happen. It's just going to happen anyway. But I think for the most part, my plans are pretty much done. Yeah, this is my skill check, my reflections. So yeah. That's pretty much it. But it's simple for me to do this. I mean, it's a lot of languages, but it's simple for me to do this because I've done all the pre-work for the other things, right? So like I know what my guiding principles are for the languages that I'm learning. I know what my why is for learning these languages, and I'm constantly developing for the ones that I don't really know that for. This is my goal setting process. When I say to be able to, I want to be able to, I need to be able to, those are the things that I teach when I'm teaching goal setting, and then breaking them down even smaller, being very specific and clear with that. And then from here, my schedule is what I would do next. Now, I don't know if I have my schedule up here, but I already know that I need flexible everything. So it's really going to be a flexible task schedule and a flexible time schedule. And if you've never heard those things before, I actually have videos up on my YouTube channel, but I'm also going to be helping people to do a similar process. Maybe not, again, this is like a extreme version of the planning process, but this is how I do it for my language studies and it works for me. And I'm going to be showing people a very simplified version, the version that I teach people inside of Fluency Mastery Lab, how to plan for your own language studies. We start on the 6th. And so what that means is if you are someone who is trying to get back on track with your language studies, then you can absolutely join us. You'll see, wait, I keep pointing to the wrong side. Here is our Fluency Focus week. And what do we have happening? I'm opening doors tomorrow, probably tomorrow afternoon, night, for people to dive into the community and get a preview for what's there. We start with our kickoff call on Sunday. We have back-to-back workshops, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday is our Q&A call. And then Saturday is our wrap-up day and our catch-up day. So Monday is a mindset reset on motivation. What is it? How do we find it? How do we keep it? Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have the guiding principles. That's your why for learning languages. And then your goal setting big and tiny goals for your language studies for any language that you're currently focused on. Again, I recommend focus on 3. You can leave the rest for non-priority. And then we're doing the schedule creation work. All of these things are going to help you to map out your next 30 days. So you're not doing a quarterly plan like I just did, because again, I plan for quarters so I can do bare minimum for the next 2 months in planning. I just have to pull from what I've done or adjust it. But we're going to be doing the last section that I did, which was the monthly planning. What are you expecting to do? What's your action plan, right? What's the schedule you're creating for yourself? What are you going to be doing and when and how? So that you can immediately after this week, whether you decide to work with me or not, actually get those things done in your language studies. And I am so excited about it. It's probably one of my favorite experiences that I put on. And so I'm just checking over here. Oh, wow. Look at that. Perfect. Okay. And with that, this is my plans. I got them done. So I'm patting myself on the shoulder for that because now I don't have to do it later. Thank you for joining me. And if you're watching this in a replay and you're getting to see me plan out my language studies live, this is an hour of planning. But again, this is my quarterly planning. And actually my quarterly planning workshop that I share with all of my members inside of Fluency Master Lab is also about an hour or so. Because you got to sit down, you really want to think strategically about what you're doing in your language studies and why, rather than just doing any old thing. There's actually someone who I saw a comment recently about the language learning streak on an app. It's like, that's the only reason that I, show up and do it. But if you're more focused on the streak in learning the language, like keeping up with the Duolingo streak or whatever it might be, then making progress in using the language, that's the problem. That's the thing that we want to adjust and fix, because then that means that you're most likely never going to use it until you let go of the streak, because the streak's going to disappear at some point. Like, you're just going to graduate from that app and actually start using the language, and we want to get you there. So if you would like to join, if you're on YouTube, in the description is the link to Fluency Focus Week. It's also right here on the screen. You can just type that in. If you're on TikTok, then it is in my bio. Make sure to check it out. And I think with that, I'm going to end. What am I going to do? I have to finish setting up the space. I have to do some other projects. And then I want to go back to playing some video games, I think. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to say goodbye to the people over on TikTok first. Thank you so much for joining me. And then I'm going to say goodbye to my people over on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me and for watching me slowly but surely plan out my language studies. And I hope that this was really helpful for you to see the process. I'll leave this up for a while. I might edit this video later to make it a little more streamlined. But I think that's it. Yeah. So I will see you around. Thank you and bye.